Well, we wasn't very brave in those days. I didn't actually go to a club till I was 18. Yeah, but I never used to go out to the clubs in Mossad because there was no clubs in Mossad for kids at my age then. Yeah. When I used to go to clubs, I would go to town, to the clubs in town, etc. But we used to go to all the shebeens in Mossad when it was much later on in our life. You know, like
right, which clubs in town did you used to go to?
Oh, we used to go to places like Takis and Twisted Wheel and Round Trees, Top of the Town, you know. And it was different in those days. If we were going in those clubs in those days, if it was 4 or 5 or 6 of us black guys going out, we used to have to hide around the corner and go in maybe 1 or 2 at a time. If they see 3, 4 or 5 of us going in, they wouldn't let us in because they think we probably cause trouble. You know, and they used to, if we're going with our hair too big a afro, they say, sorry, you can't come in. Your hair is too long. But they let a white person in with their hair down to their heels. You know what I mean? And if we went in the club, and if it's 1 or 2 of us, and if 20 white guys jump on us, we would still get mad. It does not matter who it was, you know, like, we're not gonna jump on 20 white guys, but if 20 of them started beating us up, we would be the one to get bad. Yeah, so that was it in those days. We had to live through those little things.
So which was the first club you went to then? You started going out when you were 18, so which one? Can you remember your first night out?
Yeah, my first night out was actually at the Western Pub, the Great Western Pub in Mossad.
The Big Western?
Yeah, the Big Western. That used to be a beautiful place. That used to be beautiful. You used to have beautiful big velvet curtains. All the chairs was like red and all beautiful. It was wonderful in there. You know, all the black people used to go. You see a lot of them in there sat down and drink. But people was well behaved in those days.
And can you, sort of describe, if you were going for a typical night out, where would you start and where would you end up?
Well, we used to start, me and my friend was Gladstone West, Sammy White and Glenroy Jones. And we would start at the Western, and then from the Western we would go to the Union Pub in town, where there's, it was, what do you call, a queers pub at the time. But we used to go, always call in there to have a laugh. It was a good laugh. And from there, then we would go into all the rest of the clubs in town, like the Top of the Town and the Twisted Wheels. When we finished up there, we would come back to Mossad, and being young, you're not ready to sleep yet. So we would find wherever black people entertainment used to be, wasn't in the club. You used to be very few of us you see in the clubs in town, black people and all. So because we wasn't like included, we used to have Shebeen, which was our type of club at the time. So we used to go to all these Shebeens, which they used to have in basement, the basement of houses, because most of the houses in Mossad used to have cellars. So we used to go in there.
Can you remember any of them where they were? Can you remember any of them?
Yeah, there was one used to be on Yarburgh Street that we used to go to quite regularly. And there was one on, there used to be one also on Shrewsbury Street in Mossad. We used to go to that one as well. And one on Osworth Street in Mossad. We used to go to that one as well.
And, well, you've been DJing for years now. When did you actually start DJing? Or where did you start DJing? What made you start?
I started my DJing actually in the youth club. Yeah, that was what we used to do. And at that time, I was actually the first DJ around Mossad to start talking on the microphone. Because I was a town boy. I used to always used to listen to the radio stations. And I used to like how the DJ talks, you know. So I used to try and emulate the DJs, I copy them, and I used to always get in the microphone and talk. Not just toast like most of the DJ used to do, you know, but I used to talk on it. And through that, it was a little bit refreshing to our people. So I used to get lots of people used to invite me to do their little birthday parties and different things like that because I used to talk, which was very different. So that's where I really started DJing. I saw that people used to like it, so it encourages you if people pay attention to what you do, then it encourages you to do it, doesn't it? So that was really how it started.
And where are some of the places that you ended up DJing?
Oh, many places. Again, I didn't used to do many DJing job around my sites, unless it was a private party, because we didn't have the basement parties that we used to do used to be sound system, and I didn't used to run a sound system. I didn't have a motor car, so I used to go to the clubs that already had their equipment in all the clubs in town. I used to DJ in like Explosion. I did some work in Explosion, did some in a few different places in town now that are long gone many years ago.
Well, you DJed at the Carib for
oh yeah, that was a bit
long?
later. Yes, yeah. The Carib was like quite a famous place that for a while. Yeah, we made a good name in the Carib. Of course, when we went to the Carib, they asked me to come there because I was quite popular. It wasn't them that asked me; it was people that used to ask them if they could get me there to come over because they used to like the way I worked. So we started again. When we went to the Carib, it was maybe, I think the first Saturday night I went to the Carib, there must have been about 10 people in there, if it was that many. So it was nothing going on there. It was like dead. But we carried on. After about 3, 4, 5 weeks, we started to get maybe 40 people in, 80 people in, 100 people in. And in a couple of months, we used to start getting full nights. And it was one of the places that I still remember today, you know, because in there, it was like the top black club in Manchester. So we used to get lots of artists from America. We used to work with Betty Wright came there, worked with her. The Heatwave came there, worked with her. Jalen Band came there, we worked with them. Lots of the artists from America used to come there because we used to get good artists in those days. And that is still, can't believe that the Caribbean is still remembered today. And people still meet me up today and say, do you remember the Caribbean how you used to look? Because I used to go on stage. And at the time, I used to see a lady that used to work for Granada TV. And she made me this big cape with red and gold and black on the outside with a big collar up here and red and gold. I used to go on stage and wear it on. And when I opened it, all the ladies used to go, woo! It was beautiful. And we would go in. As soon as we walk on the stage, then you could see everybody from the back would just mose on right down the front. And they would be able to see the artists and whatever. Yeah, so it was a great time. I remember that.